Good morning, students. In the last lecture, we have discussed about the constitution of Juvenile Justice Board and its composition. In today's lecture, let us discuss about the powers and functions and responsibilities of Juvenile Justice Board and procedure in relation to children in conflict with law. Let us begin with powers of Juvenile Justice Board. The Juvenile Justice Board has exclusive powers to deal with all the kinds of proceedings relating to children in conflict with law, which falls within its jurisdiction, and no other adjudicatory body is given this power. But only in case of appeal or revision, the powers conferred on Juvenile Justice Board are exercised by High Court and the Children's Court. Let us move on to the functions and responsibilities of Juvenile Justice Board. The first function of Juvenile Justice Board is to ensure informed participation of the child, parent, or guardian in every step of the process. This means that the child and its parent or guardian are informed about the intricacies of every step of the procedure during the trial. Secondly, the Juvenile Justice Board should ensure that the rights of child are protected at every stage. That is, right from the time the child is apprehended, during the inquiry before the Juvenile Justice Board, during aftercare, and even during the time of rehabilitation. Thirdly, the Juvenile Justice Board will ensure that the child is provided with adequate legal aid through various legal services institutions so that child gets effective legal representation. Another function of Juvenile Justice Board is to provide translator or interpreter to the child if the child fails to understand the language in which proceedings are conducted before the board. The board will ensure that this translator or interpreter is having prescribed qualifications and is paid prescribed fees. The fifth function of Juvenile Justice Board is to direct probation officer or in his absence child welfare officer or social worker to undertake social investigation and submit social investigation report to the board within 15 days of first production of child before the board. This social investigation report enables the board to understand the circumstances in which the alleged offense has been committed by the child. The most important function of Juvenile Justice Board is to adjudicate and dispose of cases of children in conflict with law. The Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015 provides detailed procedure for adjudicating cases relating to children in conflict with law, which Juvenile Justice Board has to follow. The seventh function that can be listed is Juvenile Justice Board can transfer to the Child Welfare Committee any matters concerning a child in conflict with law who is also in need of care and protection. This can be done at any stage during the process and procedure before the board if board feels that child in conflict with law is also a child who's in need of care and protection. And as such, the Juvenile Justice Board and Child Welfare Committee both needs to look into the matter concerning this child. The next function of Juvenile Justice Board is to dispose of the matters and pass final orders. Now these final orders will also include the individual care plan for child's rehabilitation, including follow-up by probation officer or district Child Protection Unit or member of NGO as required. The Juvenile Justice Act of 2015 also details out the different kinds of orders that can be passed by Juvenile Justice Board. The Juvenile Justice Board also carries out function of conducting inquiry for declaring fit persons regarding care of children in conflict with law. Fit person here means any person who is prepared to take responsibility of child for a specific purpose, and this person will be identified after inquiry made in this behalf. The board or the Child Welfare Committee will conduct this inquiry and recognize this person as fit to receive and take care of the child. The Juvenile Justice Board also has to conduct at least one inspection visit every month of residential facility for children in conflict with law and recommend action for improvement in quality of services to the district child protection unit and state government. The Juvenile Justice Board can also order the police for registering first information report, that is FIR, for any offense committed against child in conflict with law on complaint made in this regard. Similarly, they can also order the police for registration of FIR for offenses committed against any child in need of care and protection on a written complaint by a committee in this regard. The Juvenile Justice Board also conducts regular inspection of jails which are meant for adults to check if any child is lodged in such jails. And if they find any such child, they take immediate measures to transfer this child to observation home. Apart from this, the Juvenile Justice Board may conduct any other responsibilities or functions which are prescribed to it from time to time. The next topic for our discussion is procedure in relation to children in conflict with law. Whenever a child who is alleged to be in conflict with law is apprehended by police, this child will be placed under Special Juvenile Police Unit or designated Child Welfare Police Officer. The Special Juvenile Police Unit or Child Welfare Police Officer has to produce this child before Juvenile Justice Board without any loss of time, but within 24 hours from the time the child is apprehended. But the time taken for journey from the place where the child is apprehended is excluded from this 24 hours. Under no circumstances, this child can be lodged in police lockup or jail. To take care of this child, the state government may also make provisions for certain persons, which would include voluntary organizations or NGOs. They will also make provisions to send these children to observation home or any place of safety. Whenever this child is placed under the charge of any such persons by the board, this person has to take complete responsibility of child as if the person was child's parent and is also responsible for maintenance of the child. During this time where the child is in charge of this person, no one can claim the child. Even the parents of the child cannot claim the child. But if board feels that the parent or any other person who's claiming the child is fit to exercise charge over it, then they can release the child under the charge of parents or any such guardian. Another important provision in the procedure relating to child in conflict with law is bail. When any child who is alleged to have committed bailable or non bailable offense is apprehended by the police or is brought before the board, such child has to be released on bail with or without surety, or has to be placed under the supervision of probation officer or under the care of fit person. But under certain circumstances, the child will not be released on bail, either by police or juvenile justice board. Now these circumstances are, first of all, if there are reasonable grounds for believing that release of this child is likely to bring the child in association with any known criminal, or secondly, it is likely to expose this child to any moral, physical, or psychological danger, or thirdly, if the child's release would defeat the ends of justice. Under these three circumstances, the board will record the reasons for denying the bail and circumstances that led to such decision. When such child who is apprehended is not released on bail by officer in charge of police station, then the officer will keep the child only in an observation home which is prescribed for this purpose until this child can be brought before the board. Now when this child is not released on bail by board, then board has to make order for sending this child to an observation home or any place of safety during the pendency of inquiry against this child. Whenever any such child in conflict with law is unable to fulfill the conditions of bail within 7 days, the child will be produced before the board for modification of conditions of bail. Whenever any child in conflict with law is apprehended and brought to child welfare officer of police station or special juvenile police unit, this officer or special juvenile police unit have to inform the parent or guardian of this child if they can be found and direct them to be present before the juvenile justice board before which the child would be produced. Secondly, they also have to inform probation officer or child welfare officer for preparation and submission within 2 weeks of social investigation report containing the antecedents or family background of the child and produce this social investigation before the board. Whenever this child is released on bail, the probation officer or child welfare officer has to be informed by the board. The most important stage in the procedure followed by the board is inquiry. The board conducts inquiry into the alleged offense committed by this child, and this inquiry has to be completed within 4 months from the date of first production of child before the board. This period of 4 months can be extended by another 2 months maximum having regard to the circumstances of the case and after recording reasons in writing for such extension. The first step in conducting inquiry is to conduct preliminary assessment. Preliminary assessment is conducted in case of heinous offences. In case of heinous offence which is alleged to have committed by a child who has completed 16 years of age, the board shall conduct preliminary assessment with regard to his mental and physical capacity to commit that offence. They will assess the ability of the child to understand the consequence of the offence and circumstances in which he allegedly committed that offence. This preliminary assessment is not a trial, but it is assessment only to find out the capacity of the child to commit and understand the consequences of that alleged offence. This preliminary assessment will have to be completed by the board within a period of 3 months from the date of first production of the child before the board. Where after preliminary assessment, the board is satisfied that matter should be disposed of by board, then it will follow the procedure prescribed for trial of summons cases under Criminal Procedure Code. This order of the board to dispose of the matter can be appealed as per the provisions of Juvenile Justice Act. Now, in case of petty offences, if this inquiry of the Juvenile Justice Board remains inconclusive even after the extended period, the proceedings will stand terminated. Whereas in case of heinous offences, the board can get further extension which can be granted by Chief Judicial Magistrate or the Chief Metropolitan Magistrate after reasons recorded in writing. The Juvenile Justice Board will take steps to ensure that the inquiry against the child in conflict with law is fair and speedy. The first step towards it is that at the time of initiating inquiry, the board will satisfy itself that the child is not subjected to any ill treatment either by police or any other person including lawyers or probation officer. In case of such ill treatment, the board will take corrective steps. Secondly, in all the proceedings, the cases are conducted in the most simpler manner and care is taken to see that child is given child-friendly atmosphere during the proceedings. Thirdly, the child is given opportunity of being heard and to participate in inquiry at every stage. In case of petty offences, the board shall dispose of these cases through summary proceedings. In case of serious offences, the inquiry will be conducted and board will dispose of these matters by following the procedure for trial in summons cases provided under Criminal Procedure Code. In case of heinous offence committed by a child below the age of 16 years, as on the date of commission of offence, the board will dispose it as if it was a serious offence. That is, by following trial in case of summons cases. But if the child who has committed heinous offense is above the age of 16 years as on the date of commission of offense, the preliminary assessment will be carried out by the board as per the procedures which were already discussed earlier. After inquiry, when board is satisfied that the child has not committed any offense, it will pass order to that effect. If board is of the opinion that child needs care and protection, it will refer the child to Child Welfare Committee with appropriate directions. However, if board is of the opinion that a child, irrespective of its age, has committed a petty offense or a serious offense, or a child below the age of 16 years has committed heinous offense, then depending on the circumstances, the nature of the offense, social investigation report, past conduct of the child, the board may pass any of the following orders. First of all, it may allow the child to go home after advice or admonition, and after proper counseling of the child and also his parents or guardian. Secondly, the board may direct the child to participate in group counseling or other similar activities. Thirdly, the board may pass order that child should perform community service under the supervision of any organization or institution or a particular person. Fourthly, the board may pass order that the child or parents or the guardian of the child should pay a prescribed fine, provided in case the child is working, it should be ensured that labor laws are not violated. Fifthly, the board may pass an order directing the child to be released on probation of good conduct and placed under the care of parent, guardian, or any fit person. But for this, parent, guardian, or this fit person has to execute a bond with or without surety. Board may require the bond for good behavior and child's well-being for a period not exceeding 3 years. The next order that can be passed by Juvenile Justice Board is order directing the child to be released on probation of good conduct and placed under the care and supervision of any fit facility to ensure the good behavior and well-being of the child for a period not exceeding 3 years. Now here the child will not be placed under the care of parents but under the care of any organization or any fit facility including NGOs. The next order is order directing that the child be sent to special home for a period not exceeding 3 years for any reformatory services or education or skill development, counseling, behavior modification therapy, psychiatric support, and so on. However, if conduct or behavior of the child who is sent to special home is such that it is not in the interest of the child or interest of any other children housed in the special home, the board may send such child to any other place of safety. In addition to all these orders, the board may also pass order to attend school or to attend vocational training center or to attend therapeutic center or to prohibit child from visiting or frequenting any particular place or order to undergo de-addiction program. These are all the orders that can be passed by Juvenile Justice Board in case of petty offences, serious offences, or for child below the age of 16 years when it has committed a heinous offence. In case of a child above the age of 16 years on the day of commission of offence has committed a heinous offence, the Juvenile Justice Board has to carry out a preliminary assessment, which we have already discussed earlier. After conducting preliminary assessment, the board may pass an order that there is need for a trial of that child as an adult. Then that particular case will be transferred for trial to Children's Court, which is having jurisdiction to try that offence. The pendency of cases before the Juvenile Justice Board will be reviewed by Chief Judicial Magistrate or Chief Metropolitan Magistrate once in every 3 months, and it will direct the board to increase the frequency of sittings or may recommend the constitution of additional boards. Also, the number of cases pending before the board, the duration of pendency, nature of pendency, and the reasons for it shall be reviewed in every 6 months by a high-level committee consisting of Executive Chairperson of State Legal Services Authority, who shall be the chairperson, the Home Secretary, the Secretary responsible for implementation of this particular act in the state, and representatives from NGOs or voluntary organization which are to be nominated by the chairperson.